everybody. Welcome back to Straight Talk Commerce. My name is Wayne Altman. I am your host. And welcome back to the podcast that builds your brand and breaks through the noise. Today, I'm going to dive into one of the best tools for monetizing your audience and creating killer live events, Eventbrite. Whether you are hosting a master class, a concert, a mastermind group, I'm going to show you exactly how to set it up, lock it down with a paywall, and stream it to the world. Literally the world. We did that Sunday. Cannot wait to share this with you. We're going to turn your ideas into income-generating events in 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Just the real deal. Wayne Altman's here, yeah, you know the drill. Talking business, talking shop, making moves non-stop. From e-com to hustle, straight talk, no props. Straight talk, no gimmicks, no lies. Here to break it down with the sharpest minds. Money, moves, mindset, grind. If you're ready to win, then tune in live. Big names, big games, all the lessons they bring. From Jelly Belly to AA Kings. From the startup grind to the top tier pros. We crack the code, now here we go. Straight talk, commerce, getting to know with Wayne Altman. Let's start the show.
Welcome back, everybody. So about 12 days ago, I get a phone call from a very good friend of mine, really good friend of mine. And last year around this time, he and I live streamed a talk that he was giving with another friend of his. We made a little bit of money on that. We live streamed it. It was more of a Zoom call. It wasn't really that big of a deal, but he was keen on doing it again. Said, hey, would you be interested in doing this and turning it actually into a live stream event? And you were mentioning something, Wayne, about doing a pay-per-view. And I said, Stash, baby, I'm in. This is going to be fantastic. He said, yes, Sunday we're going to... I said, pardon me? Sunday? He gave me 13 days notice to put together a live stream event that happened Palm Sunday, last Sunday. And we're going to talk about what we learned from that event, how successful that event was, and how you can put together an event yourself like this and earn some extra money, pretty good money if you do things correctly. So let's start with how we put this together, how I put this together, okay? Step by step. So you're going to use Eventbrite, and I say use Eventbrite. I wouldn't use anybody else. I'll be honest with you. Normally, I give you tools, 3-4 different versions of tools that you can use. I'm telling you, man-to-man, man-to audience, Eventbrite is the way to go with this. Chef's kiss, Eventbrite. I really appreciate, even though you don't sponsor me, I really appreciate the way that you've handled this. And it was a lot of fun using you. First thing you do is sign up for an account, no matter what paywall that we're talking about now, the paywall, the ticketing aspect of this. That's what we're going to set up right now. So you're going to go to eventbrite.com in this case, and sign up for an account, and create an account for yourself. And then once you've done that, and you're going to start an event, click Create Event. And once you've created the event, it's going to ask you for an event title. It's going to ask you for an organizer's name. It's going to ask you for an online or in-person event. It's going to ask you for a start and end time of that event and what time zone your event is taking place. And that's important. We're going to talk about that. Local events versus worldwide events. We did an event that was only absent on one continent. Antarctica was the only place that no one tuned into this event. We got Europe, we got Asia, we got Africa, we got North and South America, Australia chimed in. So this event really was, with all the technical difficulties we are going to talk about, with all the technical difficulties that occurred during that event and every event, ask Netflix about that, we still were able to come off with what I consider a extremely successful event. All right. Then you're going to add your event details. You're going to give it a description. Use engaging copy when you do this. And this is a good place for AI. AI is extremely good at giving you exactly what you want in a way that's very engaging when it comes to describing these events like this. So you tell AI what you want, ChatGPT, Grok, whoever you're using, and input that and make some corrections, make some adjustments to it. Tell people why they must attend this event, and create an event image or banner or use pictures from previous events, but make it as enticing as you possibly can. And then you're going to decide on what type of event and add it to whatever category that event belongs to. All these so far pretty self-explanatory. Eventbrite will actually help you recommend your event. It'll tell you where you belong in the list of events. You're going to talk about the location. And for online events, you're going to choose online event, and you're going to select a streaming option. That is also going to be important later on. We're going to have some options for you there. But right now, Eventbrite, that's your option. You can also integrate Zoom or Vimeo Live. I personally, for this event, chose YouTube Live. YouTube has got the biggest footprint, looks like. And I'm familiar with that platform, and they did a very good job for me. Unfortunately, this event took place in Malibu, and one of the mistakes that I made, I'll share up front, was not realizing how compromised Malibu is on its infrastructure. Cell towers down. There were areas that I drove through that did not look like the planet Earth. So I had no reason not to expect issues, and we'll talk about those. Then you're going to create your ticket types, whether you're having free tickets or whether they're paid tickets. In our case, we charged $15 for the event. You'll click tickets, and you will choose either free, paid, or donation optional. Those are your options there, and it's totally up to you how you. If we're trying to make money here, so if you want to do an event that is a live pay-per-view event, you set up your tickets. Now, a word about that, the price. Look, this event, you should do some research and find out from Eventbrite, and it's very easy to do. Scan the events in that area and find out what people are paying for your type of event. There are events that are their $300-400 ticket price. There are also events that are free or donation only. So it's up to you to know the economics to find out what you're willing to do this event for. And it's up to you to set your ticket price. And you can do A/B testing on that, which we talked about last week. If you missed that, go back and look at A/B testing. But you're going to also want to set your ticket price, the quantity of tickets you want to sell, that's important, and the start and end date of your event. Now listen, it's very important that you don't give yourself 13 days to do this event from start to finish. You understand? You are going to want at least 90 days run up to this. And the reason will become very apparent. The volume of work that you must do to make this a successful event as you can, it will become very apparent here shortly. Now, at no time do you ever hear me talk about get-rich-quick schemes, or do you ever hear me talk about easy way to make money and all that? I don't believe in any of that. I believe you should have fun ways of making money, this being one of them. I'm going to tell you guys something. This was probably one of my best experiences all together. Were there negatives? Yes. There were definite negatives. There were people that love, in any event, anything that you do, you will have monkeys throw poo at you. You may as well get used to that. Some of them will be close friends and family. You've got to tune them out. You've got to get them out of your life. Don't ever think that you have to settle or listen to the negative energy around you, because you do not. you can tell those people to hit the bricks and keep on trucking. And I hope you'll do that. So now you've set up your paywall. Eventbrite is going to manage ticket payments for you. You get paid through Eventbrite's payment processor, or you can connect it to Stripe, however you want to do it. And you want to include early bird pricing, you want to include discount codes, and you also want to give VIP experiences to people and press. You want to be able to have some tickets available to the press so you get extra coverage of these things, and you can invite people that way as well, okay? So you have a mix of all of these things. I just want to keep that on your radar. Go back and watch this video again if it helps, but you want to make sure that you keep that in mind, right? You want to let Eventbrite manage the ticket payments for you. You get paid through Eventbrite's payment manager, their processor, or you can hook up Stripe, your own Stripe if you have that. And then you want to include early bird pricing, discount codes, or access codes and access codes for VIPs. Okay, you want to cover that again. Then you are going to add your online event access. This is your streaming integration. If you're doing a live pay-per-view, which is what we're talking about, you want to, now is the time to select what platform you will stream this event on. And you'll choose your streaming option under the online event page. If you're using a Zoom, it will directly integrate if you have a Zoom Pro account. If you want to go with Vimeo Live, you will need to embed a Vimeo link into this part of the page. So once people have paid the fee, they will be sent a link directing them to your live stream. YouTube Live works exactly the same way. You will paste your unlisted or private stream URL, so when someone buys a ticket, they will get an email or they will get a message with that link. Now, a word about this. There are a lot of people, surprising number of people, that are Luddites. They do not know how to handle technology very well at all. This part of this, if it catches you by surprise, can be a little bit unnerving because they will act like children and they didn't get this link, that you didn't send a link, whatever. It doesn't matter how many times you send it. These are things you need to embed in your brain, that they are going to ask you for the link over and over and over again. Okay? It's not a problem. You just take it with a grain of salt because they're paying customers. That's why I urge you to do this pay-per-view. Okay? Make it worth your time. You can also do this through Eventbrite Studio. Eventbrite's native video streaming, if you enable it, is really a good option. I just chose not to use it for this event. In future events, I am going to do that. No question about it. And what makes me a bigger fan of Eventbrite is once you've published your event, you'll notice that your ticket price, in our case, it was $15. That entire amount came to us. Eventbrite added a surcharge, much like Ticketmaster, much like any of these other, seat places, right? They added a $2.87, in our case, $2.87 event ticket, taxes and event fee. So you get everything that you charged your customer. And you can set this up where either you pay the fee to Eventbrite or you have it included in the price of your ticket. I would urge you, include that in the price of the ticket. Don't include it in the price of the ticket. Let Eventbrite add their fee to that. You can also customize the access time from this page, how early people can join. That is something that I will do in the future. I tried to add a little bit of an add-on, and come to find out, some people really didn't like that, and I don't know how much it was worth it for me to do to begin with. So I had the live stream up probably about 45 minutes early, which I always do, so I can manage the stream and make sure that people are getting the best possible product. Some people, they logged in early and thought that the event had already started, and they were not happy with that. We started precisely at 7. In our case, started precisely at 7. People, they can think whatever they want. And then you'll also set replay availability. In our case, Stash and I had agreed that we would leave this up on the Odyssey event page for people who missed the live event. They could pay $10 and have access to that same event just at a lower discounted price. And that seems to be what. So, by the way, this live event that you're about to do, it can go on in perpetuity for a year, for 2 years, for 3. As long as people are finding the link and willing to pay the fee, you can keep it behind that paywall. Then you publish your event. That's what you do. You click publish. Once you finalize the setup, got it the way that you want, your event is now live, and it can be shared or discovered on the Eventbrite system. And by the way, we sold a heck of a lot of tickets that way. We sold a heck of a lot of tickets on using Eventbrite system. And by the way, all of what I've talked about so far cost me $0. No cents. It was completely free to do this so far. I'm urging you, do this. It's a lot of fun to do. Now, you're going to promote your event. You're going to promote your event. You're going to share it on social media. You're going to send email invites. You're going to talk to your friends about it. And you're also want to use Eventbrite has a built-in promotional tools. So you can, from Eventbrite's platform, you can send out LinkedIn, YouTube. You can send out all kinds of Instagram, all kinds of different commercials for your event and get people to join you for it, right? You can also run ads on Facebook or Meta, Google or Instagram, which we did a lot of as well. Prince Stash has a little over 500,000 followers on Instagram. One of the things that we had a very difficult time with, though, was giving his experience in social media and that kind of stuff. We had a little bit of a disconnect as far as getting his audience the word about this talk he was going to give. Next time we do something like this, that is not going to be an issue. I'm going to pay far more attention to that. I suggest you do the same. And I will also take this moment to talk to you about add-ons to your event. So for Stash's event, I created a book. Well, I took a book from the 1700s that has it's free, right? And it has no copyright to it, by William Atkinson and William Walker Atkinson. And it was on the subject of clairvoyance and alchemy, which is what this talk was about. I took that book, turned it into a PDF, replaced the cover, replaced a forward, and added information, and then as an add-on to the event, charged $50 for that digital download. And yes, we sold multiple copies of that book, and it was a great source of income. Again, if you give yourself more time prior to your event, you can come up with really super fun, really great add-ons. You could do t-shirts, you could do stickers, you could do hats. You could create a situation just like a Lady Gaga concert or a Billy Joel concert. The sky is the limit here. I urge you to plan ahead and have those things ready, because it's a fantastic add-on to your event. Now it comes time to test. You want to purchase all of the types of tickets that you have just started. So if you have a pay-per-view, you want to buy a pay-per-view ticket and make sure that the link is coming to you. If you have given free tickets, you want to check those links and make sure that those links are going right back to where you directed them to. If you gave a discount code, this is the time to test your discount codes. You want to check your event page, your email confirmations, and your access links. All of that needs to be tested, checked daily. Make sure that all of those things are on point, that things point to the right way. You've spelled everything correctly, that everything over time, it hones in. It gets more and more perfect. And you can change the description of your event the closer you get to the event to add increased urgency. You're also going to want to test the stream beforehand. Run a mock event. In my case, I did it once in the morning before I drove to Malibu. I'm about 70 miles away from Malibu. So I drove from Rancho Cucamonga, had a bite to eat, ran there, immediately got to the venue where this was being held. Absolutely gorgeous room. Translated very, very well onto camera. Set up all my equipment and ran live stream. And what you're going to want to watch for is, and have a group of people that you can call on that will test out your stream for you. You want to make sure that the sound is good, the camera is good, and everyone in the room knows that the camera is rolling. You have a live camera in that room, and to mind their P's and Q's. You do not want to stream something live that was never intended to be streamed. But you can only remind people so many times, and it's pretty obvious when you're doing a live stream of some kind that there's actual live camera going on. So don't sweat it too much. Number 10 is host the event. And when I say host the event, what I'm talking about is you go live when you say you are going live. So if your event is from 7 to 9, you go live and you make the announcement, 7 p.m., this is live. And you end at 9 or when your designated time, or as quickly after that as possible. You have borrowed people's time. They have paid you for their time, and you want to make sure that you honor that time. Now, does it mean that you cannot go over? No, of course not. But you do step in at the appropriate time and say this portion of the live feed is over, and we are going to continue to live stream after this. If you can, hang around. If not, the recorded version will be on this hosted platform. You want to welcome your audience. You want to record the session. And if you use one of the platforms like YouTube, like Vimeo, if you use one of those, Eventbrite, I believe, if you use one of those platforms, it will automatically record that live session for you that you can then edit any way that you see fit. It makes it so easy, you guys. It really does make it very easy for you once you work all the kinks out. And by the way, let me say something about that. No matter what you do, you are not going to run a perfect event. Let me say that again. No matter what you do, you are not going to run a perfect event. There will be problems along the way. So may I suggest to you that you have a second stream standing by that you can direct your traffic to, that you have a alternate event space, that you bring along with you access to the internet. Do not rely on the venue's internet. All of these things need to have a backup to the backup. If you're a good punter like me, you will have these issues. Maybe they're even obvious issues to people, but the live stream goes on and you have a record of what you've done. And it is incredibly satisfying at the end of the day to see just how well your event kicked off. I got so many compliments. Again, I got, your normal monkeys throwing poop, but I had so many compliments about this live stream from people that I have no way of ever knowing. Finland, Africa, Australia, people reaching out to me, thanking me profusely for the event that I put out. And it really touched me, and it helped me overcome a lot of anger and bitterness over the very small minority of people who couldn't figure it out. They couldn't figure out the links. They couldn't find it. And by the way, let's say this is another reason why you are going to want to record your event. Because if you hold a live event and someone misses that event, they can always go back to the recorded version immediately after the event is ended. So make sure that you have a backup recording of whatever event you are doing. You want to engage your audience through chats, through poll. That was a lot of fun for me. I'm the one that handled that, and people would ask me questions, or they'd make comments that the two speakers, they had no idea that people were making these comments, and I had to giggle. I was just laughing like, oh my God, that's a very funny observation. But you want to engage through chats, polls, questions and answers. One of the things that Stash and we discussed was doing a separate live as part of the pay-per-view. We were going to charge for it, but a question and answer session in his home where people could ask him certain questions that they did not get a chance to answer. And that's a great idea for an add-on, by the way. It's a good inducement. If you buy early, if you buy a ticket early, you will get a pre-show question and answer session with the one Stash Darola. Or you could say afterward, we're going to sit down with Stash after everything is done. I wouldn't suggest doing it immediately afterward. I would let everybody calm down from the event, but it's a super good idea to do that. Okay, welcome back. So I put together 20 questions that I always ask myself after I produce a live event. And I want to share those with you and pay close attention. I'm also going to have a link in my description down below of these questions, because I do think it's very important that you ask these questions and find out more about your event from yourself. So here we go. Ask yourself, what inspired you to host this event in the first place? And for me, it was my friend. My friend called me and asked me for my assistant. Man, like Batman, throw up the signal, I'm going to be there. I'm going to give you my 100%. I'm going to give it to you, my all. But man, I was very inspired by that friendship. Number 2, why did you choose Eventbrite over other platforms? And this goes for everything that you use, by the way. Why did you choose this? Why did you choose that? Why did you choose the other thing? Let me answer for Eventbrite on the Eventbrite side. They made it incredibly easy. I cannot say enough about Eventbrite and their ability to simplify doing a live pay-per-view. Their portion of this was beyond reproach. Beyond reproach. I loved every minute of working with Eventbrite. They made it very easy. How easy or difficult was it to set up the event? Well, I created more problems than transpired, to be honest with you, for this particular event. By not planning on, I went into an area that has been decimated by fire, the whole area around, and I never took that into consideration, and that's on me. That's on me. I should have been more cognizant of where I was hosting this event. And next time that will not be an issue. I'm going to make sure, because that morning I was able to host a live event from my living room. Maybe 20 people popped in for whatever reason, and it went flawlessly, went brilliantly, no problem. But that was 70 miles away, and it was in my home where I have excellent internet service. That's not the case when I went to Malibu, okay? What kind of event did you host? Was it a workshop, a concert, or a webinar? Actually, it was more of a TED Talk. Stash and his friend Lee are fascinating individuals. People hang on their every word, and they were talking about alchemy, understanding, over understanding. It was a very challenging conversation, especially to somebody like me, but it was a very challenging conversation, very thought-provoking. People really dug. I want to make very clear. People really loved that conversation that the two of them had. And hopefully I captured that, and people will be able to enjoy it for a long time. How did you decide on your ticket pricing? That is easy. That's easy. So I went on Eventbrite and I looked at similar events. And I took a look and I said, hey, look, there are people, 500,000 people follow Stash on Instagram. You know what I mean? 500,000 people. But I also know that if I go on Prime Video, professionally produced events all the time are in the, $15, $20, $25 range all the time. It's not a UFC fight, but, hey, this is a very specialized premium content event that I'm putting on. $15 seemed like it fit. I didn't have anybody bucking me on that. Everybody that purchased a ticket loved it. And it was fantastic. The pricing wise, we had some technical difficulties, but like I said, let me break this down for you. A few months ago, Netflix did a fight. They did a fight, and millions of people were not able to watch that fight. And Netflix is billions and billions of dollars, okay? And they had technical difficulties. So you will excuse me if I don't beat myself up with my laptop, my 4K camera, and a Yeti microphone, that I don't beat myself up when I produce an event that was every bit its equal. Very few people had any kind of technical difficulties overall. And so, yeah, it was awesome. Let's see here. How did you decide what streaming service did you use and why? Well, I said YouTube. We did a YouTube live. One of the reasons we did that was because for YouTube, I have a YouTube channel, Odyssey Events. That morning, I did a live event from Odyssey Events. By the time I got to Malibu, Google, for whatever reason, or YouTube, for whatever reason, would not allow me to stream the live event that I had already planned, already ticketed, already done. They would not allow me to use that channel to stream this event. Like I said, have a backup of a backup. So what I did was I went to my Straight Talk Commerce, this channel that you are watching. I went to this channel. I opened a live stream. I marked it private and sent out the link. Nobody was any of the wiser. Now, the issue became, it was very close to the event. So most people who did not check their email, they may have missed that link, and it took them a minute to log in. We still had way more people in the event than actually bought tickets for it. So I don't think that it was that big of a problem, but I digress. Was there a mistake made? Yes, there was a mistake made. Let's see. Did you face any technical issues during setup or the live stream? Well, look, I had cats crawling all over me, had a dog running in and out of the room at various times. I mean, nothing, major. When you're hosting a live event like this, you kind of just have to be able to go with the flow. Yeah, that's a very important lesson, you guys. Seriously, I had a smashing headache during this whole time. I had a serious migraine headache. I had people that were chirping in the background. They didn't understand why I was making the decisions that I made. And really, it's not for them to understand or not understand. I was doing a favor for a friend. I stand behind that, and I had a blast doing it. How many people attended versus how many you expected? Well, more people attended than we sold tickets. That's a good thing. Okay. I did give free tickets to press. I did give free tickets to some friends of the person that I was doing this for. We made, I don't know, I think I want to say, but we made just under $1,000 for the entire event. We could have made far more with more time. And look, it was a lot of fun. It was a very good learning experience, and it's better than a sharp stick in the eye. I mean, your alternative is to do this talk with no one in the room and no one in Finland and Africa listening to you. And the poor people in Australia would never have access to someone of Stash's caliber, speaking to them. So, I take that as a massive, and by the way, any of you that want to go and watch this event that I'm talking about, I highly recommend that. I'm even going to put a link to that in the description. I think I can get permission to do that. So if I can, I'm going to put the link to that in the description here. Because I would like for you to be able to see this. If nothing else, I will add a clip of the event to this podcast, and you'll be able to see firsthand what we were about that night. What marketing tactic drove the most signups? Here again, Eventbrite. You sexy beast. Eventbrite, really, people browsing Eventbrite for live events, there is a hunger for that. That drove a lot of sales. Now, we had some people that were friends of friends and people that emailed and that kind of stuff. There's no doubt about that. But for the most part, we had some Instagram sales of tickets that I recognized from Instagram, which was probably one of the most fun things about the entire event, because I created, and I'll add one of these commercials to the end of this so you'll be able to see it, but I created, Stash is such a unique character, and he's so much fun to work with, and a very dear, good friend of mine, that I asked him, hey, say this into the camera, say this into the camera, say that into the camera. And I would create these entire scenarios for this pay-per-view around his good sportsmanship and him being a good sport and saying some of these things. And they're absolutely hilarious, and they went very viral. As a matter of fact, they went these commercials were, for that pay-per-view, were the most fun thing that I did, to be honest with you, the entire time. And how did you engage the audience during the stream? Well, like I said, there's a live chat, and I would always urge you to keep that live chat open. Slow the rate of chat as much as you can, so you can actually have a conversation with people. The more people that pour into that room, the harder that is to do. I recognize that, but you want to. That's why I tend to leave my events at 1,000 people. So you can slow that down, and you can actually answer questions or help people with their issues while the event is going on. What did you learn from your first time hosting? Well, this isn't my first rodeo. I'm constantly getting better and better and better at this. I thought that this would be a very good time for me to post a how-to like this. But, really giving yourself ample time. Give yourself plenty of time to do this, to get your free things together, to get your incentives together, to get your stream, to make sure that you're good at doing the stream. Give yourself some time. 2 more events of mine that are coming up. I'm telling you, they're going to be bangers. They're going to be absolutely fantastic. I've given myself plenty of time to do this. And again, I'm always trying to help a friend if I can. If in any way I can, I try to help, especially someone like Stash. He's just great. Would you use Eventbrite again? What, are you kidding? I won't use anything else. Again, Eventbrite. Holler at your boy if you want, some sponsor or somebody to be a spokesman for you. You really proved the cheese this time, and I really appreciate that. It was a lot of fun working with you. We will be working again very shortly. What feedback did you get from attendees? Well, listen, I would love to say that it was all peaches and cream, that everybody got a chance to watch this. I will say this. Out of the number of people, 50-some people that bought tickets, I personally, there were only 4 that I refunded. 2 of them asked for a refund. 2 of them, I took it upon myself to refund after hearing the story. There are rules on Eventbrite about who you can and for what reason you can refund people. And I have the rule that if you want your money back from one of my events and you attended the event, if you attended the event, it's going to be hard getting your money back. However, if I recognize that there are problems, there are issues, no one would stop me from giving you your money back if it wasn't up to my event standard. If you stayed for the entire event and you want your money back, guess what? Yeah, probably not going to happen. what would you do differently next time? Oh, there's a ton of things that I would consider doing differently. Number one, again, give yourself the time to put the event together. Don't try to rush these things. Sometimes it's unavoidable, this time being one of them. It was unavoidable. We had a very short window of chance, and I didn't want to let the chance go. I didn't want to disappoint my friend, and hopefully he's not disappointed. We're going to find out next week. I got news for you. Stash himself is going to be on here next week. I'm going to come home from Chicago. I'm going to interview Stash. We're going to talk about this event. I want some time to separate from the event itself, but we're going to talk about this event. And so he'll give you his impression of it. Did the event make a profit? Yes, 100%. It started with zero investment. Let me say that again to you. If you are telling me, Wayne, I can't do this, I don't have any money, look at me. I did not spend one dime. I used all the tools in my box to put this event on. And the money that we made to the penny, minus what we returned, was profit. I knew at the beginning of that event, this was a profitable event. And I would urge you to do the exact same thing and use that money to make new events and to do it that way. But yeah, I didn't spend any. There was no ad spend. There was no marketing spend of any kind, and so it was a profit-making venture from day one. So to any of you haters out there, nanny boo boo, stick your head in poo poo. I absolutely do not care if you didn't think that it went the way you expected it to go. I absolutely don't. How did you feel when it ended? Were you relieved, proud, inspired? Yes, I was absolutely all of those things. I had a raging headache at the time, hadn't eaten, and I will change. That will never happen to me again. I had a very long drive ahead of me at 11 o'clock at night. And on the way home, I listened to some music, and it was absolutely glorious. We got through another event. It was... while not flawless, I guess you would say, it was certainly very good, and I'm very proud of the outcome of that event, and I'm inspired to do more. I am doing more. And if any one of you wants to contact me for personal advice about this, you know where I am. I ain't hard to find. It would be my pleasure to help. And would you consider making this a recurring event? Yes, I will work with Stash any day, anytime, anywhere, 100% awesome. He does have some people that are around him right now that I will never allow anywhere near another one of my events. They will never be associated with another of my events in any way, shape, or form. And if they even attend, it will be against my better wishes. I do not allow people to be, especially when I'm doing something for free, doing something as a favor to a friend, I never allow someone to sit in the back and just throw stones, just throw poop like some tiny monkey. It is absolutely beyond the pale to me. And if that's you, if you feel that you need to go through life in that manner, I'm telling you now, look at this face very deeply. You need to stay the hell away from me, because that's not how I operate, and I will call you out and I will dress you down. Absolutely no reason for that at all. Did you record the event for replay or resale? Yes, and I urge you to do the same thing. Listen, just because the live event is over does not mean that the appetite for it is over. You most certainly want to post behind a paywall, charge $5, $10 for the replay of that event. Louis C.K. did that with one of his comedy events, charged anybody that wanted to see it $5 to get in the door, made more than he had ever made before for a comedy event. He went worldwide. He talks about it frequently, and you can do the exact same thing. There is nothing stopping you from doing that. How did Eventbrite support hold up if you needed it? Again, chef's kiss. Every time I had a question, let me say this. the one time, and I mean one time in my 58 years on this planet, that the learning center of a website was dead on and had the answer to every single one of my questions was Eventbrite. So again, Eventbrite, if I see you on the street, I'm going to kiss you flat on the mouth. I absolutely loved using that platform. You guys are amazing, and I loved it. And finally, what advice would you give someone hosting their first event? Do it. Do it frequently. It was a blast. And I would tell you, remain calm. Don't allow the haters to hate. Don't just, if someone has a complaint, turn and solve the complaint if it's legitimate. Certainly. But you know when someone is just being mean, when someone is just saying things just to say nasty things, okay? You don't have to put up with that, and I urge you not to put up with that. And think that one event that you put on is going to reach someone, is going to touch someone, you are going to receive compliments that you have no reason to expect. And that happened with this event. You are going to have goodwill sent to you. I don't care how bad some people think the event goes or whatever. That's never going to be a perfect event. But you're going to do, if you want to do this, you're going to do it right. It is going to be fantastic. I cannot wait to see your events. Yeah, so that's really what I have to say about that. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back as promised. Man, that was fun. That was almost as fun as the live event that I did. I love thinking back and talking about that. Doing live events is kind of a passion of mine. I'm getting better at it every time I attempt it. I've got some more in the barrel ready to go. And yeah, I can't wait to get through that. But for now, that's it. You now have a full Eventbrite to YouTube playbook. Whether you're planning your first workshop or whether you're launching a global experience like I did, this tool stack will take you all the way. And if this helped you, I want you to do one thing for me. Subscribe or share this or like this video or dislike it. Hey, it's all the same to me. If this didn't suit you, I want your engagement. That's what I'm after, right? Share this with a fellow creator or somebody that's looking to do something like this. And when your event goes live, and I hope you do this, please tag me. Please let me know. I want to celebrate with you. And you have my promise that I will create a page, a place where I will put your event out there and let people know that you're having an event and it was us that inspired that event. So, or inspired you to do that event. You have my word on that. Until next time, I want you to build boldly. I want you to stream smartly. And I want you to keep creating. And I'll see you next week. Good night.
Pues Prince Stan is Las Klasowski de Rolla. Some call him the keeper of the vault. Others just call him Prince Stash. On Sunday night, April 13th, the vault opens from 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Secrets will be revealed, truths humanity was never meant to forget. Ideas so powerful they shift the balance. Knowledge that gives power to those who dare to know. And once you hear them, there's no turning back. One night only. From the hieroglyph of the human soul. Press the link in the bio.
One doesn't follow trends. One sets them.
No fluff, no hype, just the real deal. Wayne Altman's here, yeah, you know the drill. Talking business, talking shop, making moves non-stop. From e-com to hustle, straight talk, no props. Straight talk, no gimmicks, no lies. Hey, I break it down with the sharpest minds. Money moves, mindset, grind. If you're ready to win, then tune in live. Big names, big games, all the lessons they bring, from Jelly Belly to AA Kings, from the startup grind to the top tier pros. We crack the code. Now here we go. Straight talk, commerce, getting to know with Wayne Altman. Let's start the show.